I've been spending a ton of time down in the systems room, the engine room, whatever you want to call it, that's down below the cockpit. It's a huge space. It's a space that I haven't spent a ton of time in yet, except for when I built the hatch up forward. As I spend more time down there, there's a space that's in the very back that is already enclosed. As I was cleaning up down there and spending time down there, I realized that this is a perfect storage compartment for like wet stuff that would be accessible from the cockpit. Things like fenders and lines and like dinghy stuff that would be great for when you bring the dinghy up or put the dinghy away, whatever. And it's a pretty big space. What I'm gonna do is cut another hatch in the cockpit here. I am very excited about this. I just told Yanni that I'm gonna do this and she is not excited about this.
You're cutting another hole in our beautiful boat.
I am, and I feel dumb about it because I should have done it a long time ago. It's one of those projects I was just telling you that I would really regret not doing it down the road.
Okay.
It'll be beautiful, I promise, and totally worth it. And you'll hardly notice that it's even there.
Okay. Get out the hacksaw.
No, I'm gonna use the track saw. This is gonna be accuracy. It's gonna be beautiful. And so I totally understand the hesitation to want to screw it up because it's really gorgeous. Jan did a beautiful job building this, but I called Jan and I was like, you think this is a good idea? Or is this possible? Is it okay to cut this stuff and make myself a hatch? He said, no problem. I'm going to cut a hole in the deck, another one, and I'm going to build a hatch, and that includes building a gutter, drains, the whole thing. It's gonna be another very, very nice custom built carbon fiber hinged hatch. Okay, I'm ready to cut a hole in my beautiful deck, so here goes nothing.
You're killing us, Matt Steverson. You're killing us. I don't know. Maybe the rest of you enjoy watching Matt cut holes.
Hopefully that'll keep it from falling through. You know what's funny? Is I might actually need a hacksaw.
I was right. Told you.
The depth of the blade is not enough to get all the way through. The jigsaw ended up being the right tool to finish cutting out the hatch. So I'm gonna go under and push it up from the underside. Now we have access to this space. The next step is to build my gutter and drains, and then we can build hinges and put it back in. Should be a pretty fun project. Now I get to build the gutters out of foam and fiberglass. This is one of the gutters that I made a long time ago for, I think it was one of the other hatches. You can see it's a U shape out of foam and then it's fiberglassed all the way around. I vacuum bag it to my little mold here. I think these are really fun projects. 3 more pieces of fiberglass to go, and then foam, and then 1 more piece of fiberglass on top, and they should be done. While the gutters cured under vacuum, as you can hear in the background, I made some carbon hinges. I think of all the projects I've done on Duracell, you guys got the most excited about these carbon hinges. Well, your excitement rubbed off and I decided to make some more. These are extra challenging since I'm going to build them flush and hidden in the gap around the hatch. Making the hinge stock is really easy. I've borrowed a hinge mold from my friend Brandon. I wet out 3 layers of carbon on a layer of peel ply. And then fold those layers around a UHMW tube that is the bearing for the stainless steel pin. The folded piece is placed in the bottom half of the mold, and then I put the top piece on and clamp it down really hard. How you doing?
Good, man. How yourself?
Good, thanks.
Good. Have a good day.
You as well, thanks.
You're welcome.
The package that just arrived are the new stainless steel nuts for the keel bolts. The keel project is going to begin at the end of this month. The gutters turned out really well, so I cut them up to fit them around the hatch. I glued them together in the hatch opening, but not to the boat. This way, once the entire gutter is glued together, I can take it off the boat and back to the bench in the shop and reinforce all the corners. It feels a little risky taking it off the boat again, but it came out nicely. The aft corners I made a bit larger to fit large drains, and then I went through the whole gutter and glassed all the corners to make it very robust for holding up the hatch. This piece is what the hatch sits on when it's closed, and so I don't want anybody falling through the deck. So all the corners were glassed inside and out. It's a very fiddly but necessary project. The hinge stock was pulled out of the mold and looked really good. So again, I chopped it up into 4-inch pieces that will make 3 hinges. I cut the knuckles and recesses in the hatch frame and hatch before gluing the hinges in place. Yesterday, I glued the second side of the hinges onto the hatch. So what we're gonna do right now is test that the hatch opens. With my carbon hinges this time, instead of being on top of the opening, they are inside the reveal. This is a lot more fiddly way to install these carbon hinges. I had to do it this way because the decking was already, glued to the deck, and so I didn't want to cut that stuff away and have the carbon hinge on top. This is a much better looking solution. But like I said, it took way more time. We're gonna try to open it up. Hopefully it will work. So we're gonna hear some cracking and stuff as epoxy breaks, but.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Looks like the hinges are jamming.
So were the carbon hinges a total bust or salvageable?
No, it was a bust for sure. I attempted to open it and fiddle with it for too much more time yesterday, and I ended up breaking like 1.5 hinges. I don't know exactly what went wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they were not aligned. Where they hinge has to be perfectly aligned. I think most people who have ever installed hinges know that. And I tried to do that. It's kind of the key to installing hinges, but I messed up and it didn't work. And so it's a big bummer. The biggest bummer is that I spent so much time fiddling with these, building them and installing them, and
How much time? Just, I think our viewers would be curious.
like 2 days.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was, I was pretty bummed out about it yesterday. But I'm sure you're all wondering if the deck is okay, and the deck is totally fine that Jan installed, the Permatique. What I'll do is just install some stainless steel hinges. They're gonna have to be kind of oversized to cover where these hinges are.
Can I make a suggestion? That you not install any hinges for a while and just take a step back and try again, like another time, a year from now or 2 years from now, or sometime when you've
The carbon hinges?
got tons of time on your hands and have nothing else to do.
I'm not sure when that will ever be, but I could totally do these again. I think maybe not. I can't spend that much time. I gotta, keep moving forward.
Move on with the project. Yeah.
Yep. So
That's fair. I guess, I was making a joke about like when you have tons of time, but maybe 5 years from now when we're cruising Duracell and do have more time and you're like looking at the stainless hinges, you can be like, I kind of want to build some carbon hinges.
yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I,
Maybe
I,
not.
I also have a feeling that after this is over, I'll be done making carbon hinges for a while. This will work just fine. The stainless hinges will be perfectly good.
Let's not forget all the successful carbon hinges you've made.
I'm not actually so bummed that the carbon hinges, I am bummed that they didn't work, but I'm more bummed about the time that was wasted in installing them. So it is what it is. But today, for the rest of the day, I've got this piece, which is going to plug the big hole that's in this compartment. I've got to glass the gutter to the boat, and then I got to go find some tube that I can use to make drains, and that'll be done, and I can paint it. So got plenty to do. So I've glassed in the gutter. I actually use carbon fiber on this inside edge. I want to keep this nice and tight, this reveal around the hatch. And then it's glassed on the outside as well. So this gutter is not going anywhere. But the water that falls into the gutter needs to go somewhere, so I'm installing more carbon tubes. People will remember that I installed these same kind of tubes on this forward hatch for the systems room. How this works is the water just falls straight out the hole. So these tubes go from the gutter straight out down through the hull of the boat. So it's essentially a through hole. But you could kind of think of the tube as becoming part of the hull. So the top of the tube is above the water line, and so water's not going to come flowing out through the tube once the boat is in the water. It's just the water stays at the same water level, and it's the nice thing about this is that the drain is very big, and so a lot of water can fall inside this gutter and it immediately drains out. Of course, we have an open cockpit, so all the water, if we get pooped, for instance, water should just flow straight out the back of the boat. Any water that falls around the hatch will go out the tube. And so it's a very, very quickly evacuating water system. And I really like how it works. The tube gets glued in to the hull and to the gutter, and then I'll actually use this carbon sleeve that goes around the tube. I have to put the sleeve around the tube as I'm gluing it in, and this will reinforce it to the hole in the gutter. But very simple system. There's no valves, there's no plumbing really. It's just this one tube that's going straight out the hole. Overall, this hatch turned out really, really nice, even without my carbon hinges. The stainless hinges are going to go in these 3 spots here. It looks really good. This will be a great space for fenders or lines or wet storage of like toys and stuff when we're at anchor, or even like a life raft. It's a nice big space for something like that. Yeah, I'm very happy with how it turned out. You got it.
Alder, are you showing us the hatch? Are you showing us the hatch? He was pointing.
This would be a great little space for him. His own little stateroom in here. We're going to take next week off as we're going on vacation to Idaho. So we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks for watching.